Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to Ajmera Realty and Infra India Limited Q4 and FY 2020-21 earnings conference call. Please note, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and one can ask questions only after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star and zero on your touchtone phone. For any unanswered questions, we request you to write to us on investors@ajmera.com. Kindly note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Ms. Harshini Ajmera, Company Secretary and Compliance Officer of Ajmera Realty and Infra India Limited. Thank you, and over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today to discuss our company's earnings conference call for the last quarter and financial year ended 31st March 2021. The financial statements, press release, and the investor presentation are available in our filings with the stock exchanges as well as on the investor relations section of our website www.airl.co.in. Today on call, we have with us our Director, Mr. Dhaval Ajmera, and Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Nitin Bharati. Mr. Dhaval and Mr. Nitin will just give you a brief overview of the financial performance, which will be followed by the question and answer section. Before we further proceed, kindly note, any specific revenue or earning guidance and anything said on this call which reflects our outlook for future, or which can be construed as a forward-looking statement, must be reviewed in conjunction with the risks that the company faces. So now let me invite Mr. Dhaval Ajmera to talk about our results. Thank you. Over to you, Dhaval.
Hi, good evening, everyone. This is Dhaval Ajmera here. Firstly, thank you very much for joining our earnings call for the quarter 4/21 and the year ended 2021. Before I start my presentation and my speech, I would just hope and pray that all of you are safe and sound in your family and everyone around in your near and dear ones. Obviously, this has been a very unprecedented times for our country and the world as large for the pandemic which we all are facing, but God has been kind, and with the kind of recovery which at least Mumbai and Maharashtra and now slowly all around India which is happening, which gives us a very encouraging sign. So we feel and we hope that we continue to fight this COVID in all togetherness and with everyone, while we as our company have been very active in ensuring that we fight this battle of COVID internally and externally. We have set up COVID centers with the help of the Municipal Corporation of Mumbai in Andheri and also at helped a few at Dahisar, and also internally within our organizations we have made sure that all our employees and workers whoever are working with us have been properly taken care, regular RT-PCR tests, and whatever the norms guided by the Government of India and Government of Maharashtra and Ministry of Health has been followed to the T to ensure that there is no spread of COVID, and this has really helped us move in the direction which the company wanted to move. With the migration of labours being stalled, we ensured that all our labours which are there today have been taken care properly with their food, their sanitization and all that. And we have been very instrumental and wanting and to see that with the new drive of vaccination, we have been requesting the government, and I'm sure as the things move forward, we will ensure that the vaccination drive is also done for all our labours and employees at site and offices. Coming to our company, I would like to give a small brief about what has been our journey so far. Ajmera Group has been in this real estate business for over 52 years. It has been struck and it has been stood on very, very knowledgeable and trust, commitment and togetherness, along with a lot of family values, which we believe that has been our core for the growth. The journey has been started as a family owned enterprise, which over the years has grown into venture, which is now having 31,000 shareholders and employs 200 plus employees. We are very proud to say that, especially in the region of Mumbai and in and around like Pune, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Surat, Gujarat, we have helped and delivered 45,000 homes to the families in all these cities. As we speak today, we have delivered more than 3.05 crore square feet of real estate projects, with around 36 lakh square feet of projects which are under advanced stages, and about 45 lakh square feet of projects which we are sure that we will launch in the coming few years. During this incredible journey, the company has done and achieved great milestones, be it the largest township of Mumbai and Asia during the 80s, that is Mira Road, of delivering 15,000 apartments, or giving the largest garden of Mumbai in a private development as Bhakti Park Udyan, which is handed over to the municipal corporation, and also giving, being one of the instrumentals to ensure that the IMAX Dome Theatre, the world's largest dome theatre, has been come to our project. While we focus, and we have always been focused and working towards, large townships, and that has been our forte all these while. And our current flagship project, that is Ajmera Island at Wadala, is one of our core township projects which we all are working hard on the same. Apart from Mumbai, our presence has expanded in Pune, where we have projects about 9 lakh square feet planned, and we also have done a good amount of projects in Ahmedabad and Bangalore. And these has been our consistent market, and steadily we have been growing in these markets over the last 10 to 15 years, specifically in Ahmedabad and Bangalore. The group has also ventured internationally in London, where we have about 4 projects, and in Bahrain, which all of these projects which are under maturity, and we will start seeing strong cash flows from these regions coming in the next financial year and the financial year after that. The aim for us is to continue to solidify our position in the existing market and explore new opportunities and markets as we go along. The real estate industry has been one of the top employers in the country, and it gives us a sense of pride to be able to contribute positively to the industry and to the community at large. Our passion and determination to excel remains as strong today as it was when our company started about 52 years back. From a business perspective, all key domestic regions of ours, like Mumbai, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, have recorded healthy sales. This pandemic has assured and given, the kind of importance what we require, so that the importance of home has suddenly been realized by each and every Indian specifically, and this has seen an unprecedented demand for real estate and specifically homes in all over the country. And that has been the same witness for us in our projects in all our cities like Pune, Mumbai, Bangalore, Ahmedabad. During this year, we are proud that over the last quarter of 2021, we are proud to announce 3 projects which we did in the region of Bombay and Bangalore. The projects, these worth about 500 odd crores, and we have seen good amount of sales coming from that as well. For further financial details, I would now like to invite our CFO, Mr. Nitin Bhavesi, to give more details on the financial figures.
Thank you, Mr. Ajmera, and good evening to everybody. Now I turn to financial performance of the company based on consolidated numbers for FY 2021. Our financial performance for FY 2021 is a reflection of our commitment of creating value for all our stakeholders. In terms of consolidated numbers, we were able to match our pre-COVID pandemic annual numbers. We continued our stride for winning business even in challenging times that arise as a result of COVID-related lockdowns. Our total revenue for FY 2021 stood at 352 crores as against rupees 350 crores in FY 2020. Along with winning business, we were able to sustain profitability. Even in difficult times, that showcases robustness of our business model. The company reported EBITDA at 101 crore in FY 2021 as compared to 111 crore in FY 2020. Profitability at EBITDA level was impacted due to spike in raw material costs, as we all know, due to rise in input costs due to commodity price cycle. Our PAT still stood at 31 crore in FY 2021 as compared to 33 crores in FY 2020. Coming to quarter results, the company witnessed revenue at 80 crore as compared to 99 crores in quarter 4 FY 2020. However, on profitability front, we have outperformed, and that too significantly at all three levels, which is EBITDA at 26 crore, PBT at 16 crore, and PAT at 12 crore, as against 22, 7 and 4 crores last year, same period respectively. On the business front, we have further laid down good performance. At the sales value front, by clocking about 80% jump in sales value from 339 crores in FY 2020 to 617 crores in FY 2021. This is backed by 27% jump in sales velocity in square footage terms from 401,000 SFT in FY 2020 to about 509,000 SFT in FY 2021. This really demonstrates the clear customer preference for ready-to-move-in inventory, and of course with help of SPI concession and lower housing loan interest rates. We really thank government and regulators for much needed steps for the sector. Very natural consequence of such a buoyant sales numbers translated even in better performance in sales advances, collection from customers, which recorded 36% jump from 382 crores in FY 2020 to 521 crores in FY 2021. Coming to our balance sheet health, we have reduced our total debt in our books, which is on a declining trend, from 943 crore as on March 2020 to 745 crore. It's almost about 200 crore downsizing which we have done in terms of debt, which translates to 27% reduction in our debt book. I would like to highlight that we were able to reduce this debt far ahead of its scheduled repayment due to robust sales and collection during the year. I wish to thank all our financial partners at this point in time for believing in our project portfolio credentials. I am very optimistic about future outlook of the financial performance of the company based on such a robust sales numbers, which may result in revenue recognition over a period of time based on progress of the projects. Even on much leaner size of debt position now, we believe that we are at much better position to seize opportunities, business opportunities which comes on our way. As we disclose from time to time, the company, which is from the main aerial balance sheet, we have demerged 6.5 acres of commercial undertaking project Vadala to our wholly owned subsidiary Radha Raman Dev Ventures Private Limited. We have received SEBI and stock exchange permissions in this regard. We are in the process of filing our NCLT application, and we await NCLT approval, which is a regulatory process for the demerger. Resultantly, the commercial undertaking, which is of the size of around 3 million square feet development, will be now going forward post demerger approval, will be in the SPV level. And as we know, real estate operates very smartly at SPV level. So we believe that it will definitely help us in prospective investor strategic partnership model going forward in this particular project. Lastly, I would like to mention that Board of Directors of the company has recommended dividend at 1 rupee 45 per share, which is 14% for FY21, similar to that last year, as our reward to our shareholders despite challenges of COVID-19. I would now request Mr. Ajmera to give some outlook on our business for the new financial year to medium-term business. Over to Mr. Ajmera.
Thank you, Nitin bhai. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say only one thing, that we are, as a company, are very excited with this great numbers which has happened in the last financial year. We are really looking for a robust FY 2022. The management, has placed a great deal of importance on what we call the 5 pillars of our growth. And for the year FY 2022, we are following this to the T to ensure that what we want to achieve and where we want to grow, we will definitely be there. Firstly and foremostly, the most important is execution, and that is the key mantra in real estate. And we at Ajmera believe that execution is the key, and we will ensure that whatever projects we start, we do not stop, and we will ensure that we will finish, even though pandemics come, pandemics go, but execution will not stop. As a group, the second one is what we see as a group, we want to evaluate and acquire new lands and projects, which is in the lines of our fundamental principles, on the lines what we think is suitable for the project, for the market, and for our company at large. So definitely new acquisitions are in our mind. Debt reduction. This is also one of our prime and foremost focus. Although as a company, the debt size may not be that big, but we still feel that we do not want to have, we want to reduce our debt to the maximum. And this we have demonstrated in this year, that even though being a pandemic year, even though being lockdowns, we still reduce our debt to 27% from what we were last year. And we continue to focus to further reduce this in the coming years, and to ensure that we have a very healthy cash flow and balance sheet in the coming years. Also, with all these execution and focus on reduction debt, we also aim at launching at least 3 to 4 projects in this FY 2022. Because our belief is that real estate is the future for India, and we fundamentally believe that this is the economic driver. So, and we are very proud as a developer that we want to be participant in this economic drive of India, and we will definitely launch 3 to 4 projects in the coming future, and in this year, which will be about 1.5 to 1.7 lakh square feet in size wise, about this much size in Bangalore, Pune, and Bombay. Sorry. Lastly, but foremostly, sustainability is the mantra for us, where we will always be the key aspect for our management outlook, and Aerial looks to build a very strong last year, improves this year, and keeps at creating long-term value for all our stakeholders and customers. We aim and will always be to sustain and ensure that the right value to our shareholders always come on time. While we have spoken on our group's growth in numbers and performance, we are continuously striving to grow our organization in values and new ways of evolving and keep what our new philosophy is, and we always believe in constantly growing towards that and making our company grow and prosper in right directions, along with the fundamental values which were started by our predecessors, our family, and we continue to do so even now. With all this coming in place, we at Ajmera have come up with a new mantra known as RISE. RISE is a word which we have looked upon as an internal objective for our company to grow. And growth, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be our foremost mantra and foremost target to ensure that where our company is today, we continue to sustainably grow at many folds from where we are today, to be one of the foremost real estate developer in the country, and specifically in Bombay, where we operate from the last 52 years. while we say what RISE is, we have identified each and every word of the word RISE. So let's say is R. R is to reinvent the wheel and keep evolving. Is our key business in our key business practices. That may be internal, that may be technology, that may be construction, that may be sales, that may be anything which helps us get new challenges and new ways to satisfy our stakeholders, to satisfy our customers. We hope to inspire, that is the I of the RISE, and lead by example in the way we adopt and find ways to thrive in this new world, which is evolved after pandemic. S is going to be the supply creation, which we always want to do, that is grow, that is develop and construct more and more projects in Bombay, in Bangalore, in Pune, in Ahmedabad, in all our micro markets where we are operating, maybe internationally also, and ensure that our supply chain never stops and our growth will be when we have more real estate projects in our hand. We at Ajmeras would like to be the shining E examples and exemplify the strength of family and unity, just as our founders did 50 years ago, and we are very proud that we continue to do this even after 50 years. This unity stands forever, and we will always ensure that, because this is our pillar and we will never let it go down. We are very upbeat that the coming future and has geared up to continue the momentum going ahead. I am confident that even under these circumstances of a low business visibility in the first quarter of financial year 2021-22, we still believe that our numbers going forward in the coming year and even in the quarter one of financial year 2022 will be robust and healthy because of the advanced sales and the numbers which we have done already. So while we do so, and while we believe that the year looks very promising for us, and even with all the numbers and everything what we have seen, we see that our at least our advanced sales and the unsold inventory stock which we have, which tantamounts to about 350 odd crore rupees, which we are very sure of clocking it in the year financial year 21-22. Beyond that, the 500 crore project which we launched in the last quarter of this year, of the last year, is also going to give us great revenues. And over and above that, the 4 projects which we just told you about, 1.5 to 1.6 million square feet, which we are going to announce in launch in Bombay, Pune and Bangalore, will also help us in our balance sheet. So putting all these 3 things together, we are very sure that our balance sheet is going to have a very significant growth in the coming year and the coming quarters. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for patiently hearing for us, and we hope you all are together with us in this part of our growth, and we wish to take further question and answers from you. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles.
Hello?
The first question is from the line of Pritesh Sheth from Edelweiss Wealth. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. So I was just trying to look into your inventory pipeline and what you have in terms of upcoming launches and the land bank you have. So current inventory is around 800 crore. Is that right?
Yeah.
And what would be the pending receivables from the inventory you have already sold?
It's around 170 crores kind of a thing, which is the balance receivables from the money which we are to receive.
Okay. And what would be the pending construction cost on the projects already you have launched?
It depends on the various nature of the project. The ongoing project basket, which is at Mumbai and Bangalore, we have around 560 crore worth of balance cost to complete.
Okay, fair. And you have a pipeline of around 1.5, 1.6 million square feet to be launched in FY22. Apart from that, any other land bank you hold that will be up for launch over the next 2-3 years? And what could be the revenue potential for that?
We at Ajmera believe in acquiring, and we already have the land bank. So if you go to see at our presentation, we have said that we have projects totaling to about 5.5 crore square feet, which are completed, under construction, under planning, and future. So we have around, in terms of FSI point of view, we would be having around 1.5 to 1.6 crore square feet of projects to be launched in the near future, apart from what we are currently doing.
Okay, 1.5, 1.6 crore square feet, you are saying?
Yeah.
Okay, and that includes the upcoming 1.5, 1.6 million square feet?
Over and above that.
Over and above that. Okay, fine. And you are also looking at the acquisitions. So would it be outright land acquisitions, or how are you planning? Do you look at JV/JD kind of a model to make it asset light?
Definitely our priority is JV/JDA, because asset light and cash inflow is going to be the main mantra. So we are looking, priority is going to be JV/JDA. But outright, it depends on the nature of the land and the proposal coming forward. If it is very exciting, we may look at taking that. But our main focus would be on JV/JDA.
Okay. And what would, trying to understand, what would be your priority in terms of, since you have around 750 crore of debt in your balance sheet, and you already have quite a huge land bank to be executed, which maybe at current pace gives us a visibility of around 8 to 10 years. So would your priority be to first pay your debt and then look for acquisitions, or it will go simultaneously?
See, real estate cycle is always a function of cash flow. And when we see it is more of a working capital requirements, with most of our debt is more on those lines. So it will be an ongoing cycle. So it's not that I will first finish off the entire debt and then look at new acquisitions. It's going to be an ongoing thing. So when the project starts, the debt is taken care of, the CF from that project takes care of the debt and cash flows and everything. So it's always going to be the function for the project to continue taking debt and repaying from that itself.
Okay, got it. Then any scheduled repayment up for payment over the next 1 year or 2 years? So how should we look at your debt trajectory from here on? Will you continue to repay over 200 crore of debt year on year?
So that is the traction of, the function of accelerated sales and the collection which has happened in last financial year. We believe, and we based on the sales estimates, we believe that, we will continue this momentum. However, as Mr. Ajmera explained, it is always the, need for working capital and the new launches which are in pipeline. Those ones will see the, construction level or construction finance level debt further onto the project kind of.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, most of the debt you have is the working capital kind of a debt used for construction financing. I think nothing a long-term debt kind of number.
We have mix of debt. We have construction finance and as well the long-term debt, which has helped us in creating the good amount of investment, and going forward these investments will mature and turn out into a developable projects going forward.
Sure, got it. Thanks for answering my questions. All the best.
Thanks.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 now. The next question is from the line of Deepak Agrawal from Imperius Advisors. Please go ahead.
So the company has given a 450 crore of loans to related parties. Could you please tell us which are these related parties and why has the loan been given?
See, I tell you that, real estate typically operates on a SPV and a subsidiary and JV model kind of a thing. So at SPV level, we have few projects and JV levels and associate companies kind of a thing. So these are the related parties because ultimately the economic interest and control remains with that of the management kind of a thing. So these are the transactions which are very at arm's length and which is part of the project portfolio as a consolidated balance sheet.
These are two subsidiary or JVs or SPVs, then you already have stake in those JVs and SPVs. So they will not appear in the consolidated, they will not appear. But they are appearing in consolidated balance sheet. So that means they're not even associates.
Can you please guide which are the specific ones if you are
464 crore in the balance sheet asset side you have loans which are to related parties. Had these been to subsidiary or JV, then they will not appear on the consolidated balance sheet, right?
Okay.
So they are not two associates, JVs or SPVs.
So, as I explained that, at SPV level, these are the project SPVs, asset SPVs kind of a thing, to which, we carry out these transactions. However, it would be very happy to discuss, further operational detailing on this particular aspect of land, and you can write to us. We are happy to.
It's a big amount. It's a 60% of the total loans that you have taken. It's a big amount. How can you not know this and you want to take it offline? 450 crore rupees you've given to related parties, which are neither SPV nor JV nor subsidiary. Because had it been given to them, then they will not appear there. And you not charge a single rupee of interest to them.
As I mentioned,
but there is no interest. You're not charging interest on this amount, which is to related parties, which are, from where you're not earning anything.
As I mentioned, these are all the business interests which we have created, for which this asset.
So what is your stake? What is your stake in those business interests or SPVs, whatever those are?
So just to explain to you, all the money which we have paid is paid to all our subsidiaries only, which are part of our business. So these are maybe different projects which we are about to launch, or we have paid some land or whatever. So these are all part of our projects which is going to be paid. So it may not have charged interest or whatever, but it is basically paid to all our subsidiaries only, where the projects are.
Subsidiaries. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. It can't be to subsidiaries. If you lend to subsidiaries, it will not appear on your balance sheet as a loan to them.
Sorry, I didn't get you. What?
If it's a loan to subsidiary, it does not appear on the consolidated balance sheet, while it's appearing on your consolidated balance sheet.
Okay. So, but I will get back, but usually this is all the money which we have paid for all our investments in different projects, and where we have bought land and we have done. So that is where it is.
I think if you have even 25% stake there, then it will appear as an associate and it will not appear on the balance sheet. The fact that it's appearing on the balance sheet, that means you have lent to parties where you don't have, where you have less than 25% interest. So
we have our VP, Mr. Bhavsar over here. He will guide.
See, basically, it's a loan to. What's your question? Can you repeat, please?
Can you name the parties to whom you given? You say 450 crore is a big amount compared to your balance sheet. Can you name a few parties, the larger ones?
It is basically to all subsidiaries. It's our only owned subsidiaries.
Given loan to
are the wholly owned subsidiaries we have given the loan.
But to any loan given to wholly owned subsidiaries does not come in the consolidated balance sheet. It gets nullified.
Yeah, at the time of the consolidation, it got nullified.
So I'm looking at consolidated balance sheet. It's not nullified. It's appearing every year. It appears. Last year, even if I look at your annual report, 387 crore is to related parties as your loans. How is it appearing in consolidated balance sheet?
See, it does not appear, but please write to us. We'll definitely check to it.
There is some confusion in this. What we are trying to say is that these monies which we have given to our related parties or the projects are the projects which is about to mature or which are about to come. So these are all our...
But can you name a few of them? Can you name the three or four or five parties to whom these loans have been given?
Ajmera Estate Karnataka, it's a wholly owned company. Then there is Ajmera Corporation UK Limited. Then we have Sana Builders, Sana Pro. Then we have Ajmera Realty Ventures Private Limited, Ajmera Realcon Private Limited.
Sir, if these are wholly owned subsidiaries, then I fail to understand how they appear in the bank. Fine, I'll take it offline. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Samaj Singh from TTS Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. Can you please tell me what exactly is this demerger? Is it just demerger of 6.5 acres of land, or is there some construction on it as well? And why is this tax efficient, as you mentioned in your presentation?
Yeah, it's a 6.5 acre of land. The potential development will be around 3 billion square feet of commercial development on this particular thing. And Wadala being known for its residential township project, and this particular carved out to wholly owned subsidiary through a demerger arrangement is because that, at a SPV level, we will be able to focus on this project, bring the strategic investor or the partners which will have and help us into unlocking the value into this particular land development, which is a commercial nature. And as we know that, commercial development is also have the potential of, going down to the level of retaining the asset through lease model and such kind of a thing. So we are exploring all the possible unlocking and value enriching options in this particular development, sir.
So is there any construction ongoing right now, or right now is just...
No, there is no construction which is going on right now. It's just the land as how it stands. See, the whole idea for doing this is because we believe that Wadala in Mumbai per se is going to be the most developed and the most, it's going to be the hottest suburb of Mumbai. Primarily being, all the infrastructure facilities which are available for the city of Mumbai are available in Wadala today. Be it monorail, be it metro, be it freeway, be it the Shivri Nhava Sheva link road, be it the BKC connector, everything. So, unlocking that value of that land to the right time and the right value is very, very important. So we believe that, the future at Wadala, there will be, as government of Maharashtra also is bringing up like a BKC2 in Wadala. We believe that, to have a nice commercial park which can be an annuity income for the company and which can have a sustainable growth, that's where we believe in having it as a separate venture where probably, somebody can come together and we can participate and really unlock the value at what we want.
Okay. And is there going to be any transfer of debt or cash along with the land?
No, it's just been transferred without any debt or anything. Only the land, obviously, which is gone along with it goes, nothing otherwise.
Okay. And then the demerged entity shares will be listed separately, right?
No, the structure is such that, it is the transfer of land parcel from the main balance sheet to demerged wholly owned subsidiary balance sheet at a book value, which is the carrying value of around 27 crore. And there would be, 1:50 basis, there are swap ratio for the existing shareholders of Eril. That is the shares going to be issued by Eril to its own shareholders as a part of the consideration to make it section 219 AA compliant of the Income Tax Act, to meet all the conditions laid out for the demerger under the Income Tax Act 1961.
No, my question was, so, will the subsidiary then be separately listed or no?
No, it won't be separately listed. It will just have the shares as decided and told, but it will not be separately listed.
So Ajmera, your listed entity will continue to be a whole the whole owner of this demerger.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially the same economic position as that of pre-demerger, I mean to say, which is the economic stake and the entitlement to Eril directly through its own balance sheet, which will be post-demerger, it will be through wholly owned subsidiary.
Got it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sudarshan, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, this is Sudarshan here. Just, I think the first time I'm attending the investor conference, and are you planning to keep these investor calls after every quarter results in the future?
Yeah. Yes, our endeavor is to remain connected with the investor fraternity, and this is the, we have taken this new initiative, and as well we continue to do so.
Okay. The second question is of your Kanjurmarg land that have been under litigation for a long time. Could you give us the status of the same?
The Kanjurmarg land is not under litigation. There were some regulatory issues which were there, which has been sorted. And the project is under, we are doing the necessary planning and all of that. And we, with this current status, we would announce at the right time.
No, that is the 90-acre Kanjurmarg land, right? Jolly Brothers.
Yes.
And any timeline when, because I have not seen that in the next 12 months you are trying to launch that.
Correct. We are, as you know that real estate land is our raw material, and we believe in ensuring that every possible regulatory requirement is met, and thereafter we launch, because that is the requirement of the RERA authorities, and that's what we are doing. So we are working on it, and at the right time we will announce the launch.
But there is no issue with the land, because there were a lot of collector issues and it was in the High Court, and all those things have been resolved.
So there were issues with regards to permission, but right now it is a normal regulatory issues which are going on, but nothing related to our land.
Okay, great. The other thing is for Mr. Ajmera. Mr. Ajmera, I think this year has been one of the pioneers in the real estate in Bombay. Obviously, the other new developers have come up and they have become bigger than what Ajmera has been. Is any aggressive plan for the future, or how would you like to take it forward?
As I told you, sir, in our presentation, if you have seen, we are very, very excited. See, over the last so many years, there has been different issues which had cropped up in the real estate cycle, be it demonetization, be it GST, be it RERA, be it everything. While all these, there were a lot of uncertainties and everything, which is now what we see as a clear path, and we are very, very robust about our next few years, and that's where we plan to grow, and that is why you have seen that, we have started with this investor call, and so that we stay connected to the market and we kindly inform of what we are doing, and we are definitely on the verge of growing and launching new projects in the coming future.
So I think it's a great initiative, because actually I have been the investor for many years, and what I used to get is only yearly that I have to get any information, I have to go to AGM and get. So actually I was really very tired, and seeing this initiative is really very exciting to me, because I always feel that you are very undervalued company per se. So hope to hear you more in the future, and all the best.
Thank you, sir. As we told you, keep evolving is our mantra, and we will definitely evolve to see to it that we get the right value to each and every shareholder of ours.
Sure. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one now. The next question is from the line of Mitesh Sheth from Mata Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, sir. I just wanted to have an update on our international project. If you can please entail or give throw some more light on the international project, that'd be great. Are there any projects from which we are expecting cash flows, and by when?
So as I told you, the international projects are under maturity. The London projects of ours, which we have, finished, and London market typically is a market where the sales happen when the project is nearing ready or almost complete. So we are currently under a position where most of our projects in London, we have currently 4 projects in London, and all 4 are almost under maturity and getting ready. So we will see a healthy cash flow from the London market coming this year.
Okay. Noted. And any other project apart from this that we foresee?
As of now, no. But as we said that we are looking at opportunities, and if there is any new projects which we feel is adding value to our business ethos, we will probably acquire it. But for now, our focus is to get the sales of these projects and get the cash flow and the revenues from these 4 projects this year.
Okay. Noted. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sanjay Gupta from SG and Company. Please go ahead.
I'm Sanjay Gupta here. I just want to know what do you see the profitability, the bottom line, looking to the new accounting norms? How many projects would you be completing so that you can recognize the revenues and the profit?
So as Mr. Ajmera explained that, we have good amount of sales which is still to be recognized into the income statement. So from the Mumbai market, we have nearly 4 projects which are under completion, which will have we have the committed sales of 140 crore, which is yet to be recognized in the income statement. We have inventory to sell into this particular bouquet at 213 crore of estimated value. So both put together around 350 crore, which is likely to be recognized as per the progress of the projects. Apart from that, we have Bangalore market also, wherein we have around 66 crore worth of unrecognized balance revenue from the pre-sales, and we have inventory to sell, which is around estimated value of 270 crore kind of a thing. So both put together around 340 odd crores kind of a thing. So this is on the ongoing project portfolio. As Mr. Ajmera explained, we have plans to launch around 1.5 million square feet, which will be having the estimated sale value of around 2,100 crores, which will also be recognized as per the life cycle of the projects. So this both numbers put together ongoing and to be launched projects. Apart from the third basket, which is already launched project in FY 2021, there also we have around 90 crore worth of sales already done, which is still unrecognized in the books because of the construction at a below threshold limit for the revenue recognition norms. So that also will participate into revenue recognition, and as well the unsold inventory worth of around 300 odd crores kind of a thing. So these are the set of performances still sitting and waiting to come to the income statement, and we see a good significant rise from here.
Okay. Second question is that what was you exited your Bahrain project? What was it? Was because you could not comply with the regulatory plans, or some other reason you have to exit that project?
Well, so Bahrain project, when the lockdown started last year, obviously, the market is anyways very, very small over there. And with the pandemic and the lockdown being, although the Bahrain country was not under lockdown, but obviously with the world over the pandemic which was there, the sales had started becoming slow. And there was we did not and unfortunately at that point in time we got a proposal from an existing developer over there who would wanted to retain the asset and keep it for themselves, and they gave us as a valuation at a better valuation. They were helping us, so then we thought it is better to exit rather than continuing and to be under uncertainty.
But when it will take around 2 to 3 years revenue to come from that?
Yes, it will take around 2 to 3 years because the recognition of our revenues is going to be on completion, where the construction of the same has already started, and we see in the next 2 to 3 years it will start flowing in the balance sheet.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jayant Menon, an individual investor. Please go ahead. Jayant, your line is in talk mode. You can go ahead, please. We would request you to unmute yourself if muted from the handset.
Yeah. Hi, this is Jayant Menon, and I'm an individual investor in your company. I've been over the call and even in the investor presentation, we've been hearing about the confidence on the growth. But we, the real estate sector is seeing a depression in the market, especially in Bombay post 31st March, concession that the government has given. So, what's your outlook and what is making you so confident about the quarter one or even the next financial year? I would want to understand that.
As Mr. Nitin was just explaining that we have unsold inventory, 170 crores of stock which is already sold, and those revenues are to be recognized in the coming year. So these sales have already been done. Point number 2, we have around 200 odd crores of unsold inventory, which we see that obviously currently with this lockdown of the last 2 months, it has seen a slow growth, but not as a growth we expected, but which is understandable with the lockdown situation all around the country. But even while we speak to our customers, to the people whom we are doing regular sales follow-up, we are seeing a good amount of demand coming from there, and obviously they all want to touch and feel, which they are waiting for this round to open. So putting together, at least in Wadala per se, we are saying 300 odd crores of stock which will mature and which will come over the next 12 to 15 months. Secondly, even the projects which we launched in the last quarter, which are worth around 500 odd crores, we have already done sales of 90 crores, and we are very confident that in this coming year we will see more sales happening from them, that size also, because the demand is quite good and it has been very, very optimistic from whatever sales we have done so far and what we speak to our customers. And thirdly, with the new launches which we are going to do, where I explained about 1.5 million square feet to 1.6 million square feet, that will also help us, because any real estate project, the initial boost of sales is quite healthy for, in terms of the customer, in terms of the schemes and everything what we procure to make the sales happen. So that also we see as a good healthy number coming in. So putting all these 3 baskets, we are very confident, that these, because of our unsold stock, sales already done, the money to be recognized for the new project launches which we done last year and the new launches which we are going to do. So all this will help us in a very, very healthy balance sheet in the year 2022.
Okay, it's encouraging to hear that, but on the same lines, I have a follow-up question then. Are you not feeling any pricing pressure on sales? And, what will be the impact on the bottom line?
See, pricing pressure on sales is understandable because customers are definitely going to ask. But at the same time, we also have to understand that with the current input costs, which has been steadily growing with all these steel, cement and other factors which are making it. So definitely this cost is going to rise. And we see that this cost, the rising trend which is happening for the input cost, stops or declines as soon as possible, which will help not only us but every real estate developer to make their balance sheet stronger and be more. So definitely on the bottom line, probably we might see some pressure, but we are still very confident we will overcome this with the kind of sales which we have already done. So for us, few of our projects have already been matured and most of the construction has happened. So for few projects which we are going to launch and the ones which we have just launched, maybe there may be a little bit of effect, but majority of the project which we have already launched and where the sales have to be recognized and the money needs to come in, there we don't have too much of a construction cost left. So that will help us, that will secure us better. That's all I'm trying to say.
Sure. So I would just say all the best. This is good to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pranay Javeri from JMJ Holdings. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, sorry for repetition. I missed certain numbers. Sir, since we are tracking this company for the first time, if you can just, on an overall basis, tell us what is the amount that is, you said you are sold and unrealized and unsold as a company as a whole. If you can just simplify that number for us, and the cost of construction that is pending.
Sure. So as I explained on the earlier question, I will reiterate. On the nearly completion projects at Mumbai market, we have already committed sales worth of 140 crore, which is yet to be recognized in the income statement. And we have unsold inventory worth estimated value of around 213 crore. Both put together is 350 crore, which is going to come to income statement as per the progress of the project. I said it's already a very complicated stage kind of a thing. The second one, which is launch project, wherein we have around 90 crore worth of already sales made, and that particular sales is still unrecognized in the income statement because of below threshold limit for the revenue recognition norms, and unsold inventory worth of 315 crore estimated value. So that put together will be coming into the income statement as per the progress of the project. There are few projects which is at Bangalore market also, wherein the pre-sales, the committed sales position, unrecognized revenue of around 66 crore and unsold inventory worth of around 270 crore. So that put to around 340 crore worth of potential revenue out of the Bangalore market. And as we have the plans for, to launch four projects, two in Mumbai market, one at Pune and one at Bangalore, around 1.5 million square feet, estimated value of around 2,100 crore. So this entire, as per the progress and life cycle of the project, will be recognized over the, till the completion of the project. So these are the entire set of balance potential, which is, yet to come to the results going forward, ongoing quarters and years to come.
So these four projects of 1.5 million square feet, what would be our cost as on this point of time? If 2,100 crore is your recognizable income over a period of time, right?
Yes. As I have mentioned, it is a 1.5 million, which are the projects to launch kind of a thing. These are the projects which is already identified at different geographies, two in Mumbai market, one at Pune and Bangalore. And definitely at an appropriate time, we will be making the launch and making the disclosures about the project eventually.
Okay, and if I exclude that number, your three other numbers you gave was 350, 400 and 340. For that project to crystallize, what is the cost of completion that will be required over there?
In those projects, the cost to complete is around 560 crore worth of estimated value, as we have estimated now.
560 crores?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was the last question. I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for coming for our first investor call. It was great interacting and knowing each and every one of us. Like we said, we will ensure that we add value to all our stakeholders and the company and overall, and we will strive to grow more and more from where we are today. So looking forward for a great new FY 2022, and praying for everyone's safety and security. Please stay safe, and looking forward for a great year. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you. On behalf of Ajmera Realty and Infra India Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.